Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm the Reverend William Levwood, affectionately known as Rev Lev. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm so happy to be the minister here at Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Milton Nash, and my pronouns are he, him, and I am delighted to be your worship associate this morning. This congregation is a welcoming and inclusive spiritual home where we inspire each other to live out our values. Together, we care in community, grow in spirit, and act for justice. Whether you're a longtime member or a newcomer or something in between, we're so delighted that you decided to join us here today. Welcome. So today we're going to do things a little differently. In the spirit of the more participatory nature of the water communion, before the service we asked the congregant if they would be willing to come up and light the chalice, and Sheena Foster graciously agreed to be that person. So Sheena, come on up.
Yes. I'm the next contestant on Light the Chalice.
The next contestant on Light the Chalice, I like that. All right, if you all will rise for the chalice lighting. Love is at the center of Unitarian Universalism. Love is the practice of our living tradition. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to help everyone flourish, honor the web of life, be beloved community, cultivate generosity, celebrate diversity, and transform the world with love. So our theme to start off the church year is building belonging. And as I've been preparing the services for this month, I have to tell you that it's all about belonging. Everything really comes down to human beings, not just desire, but deep, abiding need to experience belonging. Good things come out of that. Not so good things come out of that as well. So we're going to be exploring that range of belonging throughout this month. Next Sunday, we're going to focus on small groups and how we find comfort and connection and deepening in smaller groups, friendship groups, the many things that are offered at this congregation that allow you to deepen connection with each other. And the following Sunday, we're going to look at the bigger picture and talk about belonging at the national and global level and how we need to make coalitions and join in solidarity in order to build the world that we dream about. But this Sunday, we're going to kick it off with our water communion. And as Michelle mentioned, we are centered in love as Unitarian Universalists. So we're going to focus today on that centering in love, on that making channels for the streams of love. And that's a good place to switch to our next thing, our sharing of joys and sorrows.
I know sometimes it can feel like it can feel hopeless, that there's not only so much we can do as one person. But when we work together, that's when the magic happens. Let's give it a try. You can put your craft down for just a second, because we're going to create the sound of a rainstorm all together. Follow my lead and change your motion when I change mine. Okay, we're going to start like this. If at any point the sound becomes too loud for you, just raise your hand and we'll make it softer. said you're amazing.
I saw that part about if it gets too loud, raise a hand in the script, and I thought, what do we need that for? But it got really loud. That was quite the storm we created together. The Bible begins with a creation story that is a celebration. At the end of every period of creation, the divine declares, and it was good. Well, after humans enter the picture, the divine declares it was very good. The benediction is followed by a story in which the first humans are exiled from a beatific garden, seeming to suggest that both the earth and humans are not good. Christianity calls this the fall from grace, setting up a need for redemption of both humanity and nature. But when reading this biblical narrative, Unitarians and Universalists came to a different conclusion. Without denying those first humans' exile, you could say that Unitarians and Universalists saw humanity as exiled from this utopian garden, but still residing in nature, which is still good. Unitarian and Universalists in the 19th century emphasized the expansiveness of divine love. And their primary evidence for the expansiveness of divine love is the goodness and abundance of nature. The earth is not hostile to humanity. Earth is rather a good host to humanity. And humans, nurtured by earth and divine love, are thus called to be good hosts in return to earth and to all beings. Our UU value of interdependence calls us to protect earth and all beings by nurturing relationships of care and respect, mutuality, and justice. Now, the divine didn't call the world or humanity perfect. Seeing the world and humanity as good rather than perfect can inspire us to create a different kind of garden than the utopian but static garden the first humans found lacking. Nature doesn't designate anything as inherently good or evil. The owl has virtue, as does the mouse. The owl hunts in the night. The palm tree thrives in one climate, the pine in another. The garden the earth shows us is one of dynamic balance. This is the garden we, human beings, are called to cultivate, a garden of wholeness that celebrates that all beings are sacred beings, that celebrates the diversity of all sacred beings in beloved communities where all thrive. This is an alternate vision of the world and humanity's place in it, not a fallen humanity in a fallen world, not a place doomed to scarcity, violence, and sin. The earth is good, loving in its abundance, and celebration of diversity. 19th century Unitarians called on humans to engage in imitatio Dei, to respond to the expansiveness of divine love by imitating it. Today, we find this love in nature as much as in words. Perhaps it is nature with its abundance and celebration of diversity that we are called to imitate. Imitatio natura. This call to respond to this love, this abundant love that surrounds and embraces us and all beings, is the vision we as Unitarian Universalists offer to the world. A vision that calls us to share this abundant love freely and compassionately in beloved communities so that all may thrive and flourish with dignity. May it be so, and may we be among those who make it so.
Sowing seeds for a new way with a story of love's glory, we will bring forth
It's written by M.H. Clark. It's illustrated by Isabella Arsenal. When I first came to Accotink, like many of you, I cried and cried and cried because I felt like I belonged here. May this story touch you in the same way so that you know that you belong. The stars belong in the deep night sky, and the moon belongs there too. And the winds belong in each place they blow by. And I belong here with you. The whales and the fishes belong in the sea, and the waves belong by the shore. And the dunes where the grasses belong to be, because grasses are what dunes are for. And the trees belong in the wildwood, and the deer belong in their shade. And the birds belong so safe and good and warm in the nest they've made. And you belong where you love to be. And after each day is through, you will always belong right next to me, and I'll belong next to you. The frogs and the lilies belong in the lake, where the water is silver and clear. And the turtles belong in the homes that they make, and the sand where the water is near. And the otters belong by the banks of the stream, and the cattails belong there too. And the carp belong where the water runs green, and the shadows all run blue. And you belong right here, where you're home and where I hold you dear. Of all the wonders I've ever known, you're the one I love the most. The hares belong in the desert air where the rocks are red and gold. And those rocks belong with the comets out there, which flash bright when the night turns cold. The foxes belong in the high canyon hills, and the sage there belongs in the sun. And the lizards belong in the light, sitting still until they are ready to run. The crickets belong in the old stone wall, and the bees belong in the clover, just as winter belongs in its place after fall, before the new year starts over. And you are a dream that the world once dreamt, and now you're part of its song. That's why you are here, in the place where you're meant, for this is right where you belong. The pines belong on the mountainsides, tucked under their blankets of snow. And the bears belong in the caves where they hide whenever the storms start to blow. Some creatures were made for the land or the air, and others were made for the sea. Each creature is perfectly home right there in the place it is meant to be. And no matter what places you travel to, what wonders you choose to see, I will always belong right here with you, and you'll always belong with me.
You are a dream that the world once dreamt, and now you are part of its song. And you belong right here where you're home and where I hold you close. In this story, we see that Unitarian Universalist vision of an abundant world of diversity where each and every being dwells where they thrive and flourish. And yet it's striking to me that whenever the story shifts to speak of human belonging, we see houses. The otters belong by the banks of the stream as surely as winter belongs in its place after fall. Earth is good and whole and abundant, lovingly so, and yet humans need a house with a hearth fire to gather round in those cold, wet winter months. Humans are unique in this way. We need a house. We need to build a house of belonging as well, a house for hope. Unitarian Universalist theologian, the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Ann Parker, president of one of our UU seminaries, Star King School for the Ministry, for 25 years, including when I was there, uses the image of the house as a metaphor for the place of meaning we build to find our sense of belonging in the world. That's what theology is about. Not so much God as the building of the house where we belong, the house with the hearth fire to keep us warm through the winter months. Systematic theology is the name for the larger theology that explores not just the question of God, but also questions like, why are we here? And where is all this leading? Questions like, who are we? What is the nature of human beings? Questions like, why do we need community and what forms should those communities take? Questions like, how do we embody wholeness and cultivate relationships of compassion, care, curiosity, and love? Answering these questions for ourselves as individuals and as a faith community is how we build a place of belonging, a house of hope, where we can gather around the hearth fire, chalice fire together in beloved community where all beings thrive and flourish. This church year, we'll be looking at these questions with their big names like theological anthropology and eschatology, soteriology and ecclesiology, pneumatology and missiology. Rebecca Parker envisions this systematic theology as a framework of meaning that provides a roof over our heads, welcoming rooms for our hearts, and sheltering walls for our spirits. This is one of the ways we build a beloved community of belonging, a house for hope, a sanctuary.
Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
So now you're going to learn why these tables are here. We're doing a variation on how water communion is usually done, and so we're going to do it in two parts. So I need you to pay attention because I'm going to talk about love, and then you're going to pour water into the clear vessel at your table. As Unitarian Universalists, we say that we place love at the center of our living tradition. This love is not a feeling. Not exactly. This love is the desire to help everyone flourish and the wisdom to know how to help everyone flourish. Often people say that love is an action. The action is making channels for the streams of love. If love is what love does, then what love does is expressed in our UU values. Most of the phrases in our UU values begin with the word we, but if you replace that word we with the word love, you end up with a clear expression of how love can help everyone flourish. You can try it with your looking at the bookmarks. Love honors the web of life. Love cultivates generosity. Love celebrates diversity. So first, love declares that everyone should flourish. And if you give a mouse a cookie, that mouse will want a glass of milk to go with it. And if you declare that everyone should flourish, you're going to need to honor the web of life by protecting Earth and all beings from exploitation. And if you're going to do that, you'll need to nurture relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. And to do that, you'll need to work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities. And to do that, you'll need to dismantle racism and all other oppressions. And that's going to require being open to change, to adapting and growing, never complete, never perfect. And for that transformation to happen, we'll need to embrace each other's differences with curiosity, which is an act of generosity, of freely and compassionately sharing our gifts with each other and receiving each other's gifts, of freely and compassionately sharing Earth's gifts, the great web of life's gifts with each other, which means we're going to need to honor the web of life. Which brings us around again to the beginning of the circle. Because if you give a Unitarian Universalist a value, they're going to use it to transform the world with love. This is what it means to make channels. It would have been better if there were illustrations, wouldn't it? Like in the Give a Mouse a Cookie. Homework. This is what it means to make channels for the streams of love. It means that love takes many shapes. And we are called to shape love in whatever way helps everyone to flourish. That looks different in different moments, and each of us has different gifts to offer. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, in the coming year, what shape will your love be? Will it focus on justice, on defending democracy? Will it be animated by generosity or by celebrating diversity? Are you a change maker? Or a structure maker? Will your love be creative and collaborative or caring and compassionate? I know your love will be all these and more, but right now, we want you to imagine how you're called to shape love in this moment and in this coming year, and to briefly share that with each other at your tables. And once you've shared with your table mates, to pour water into that clear vessel at the center. We'll take a few minutes to briefly share how we are called to shape love in the coming year. So now we're going to do the second part of our water communion. And because we're doing it this way, it's going to go a little faster. So you're going to just choose one person from your table to come and pour your table's water into our larger communal container. This is a way how we do it. We come together in smaller community, and then we pour our water into a larger community, and then we pour our water into a larger community, growing this mission that we have, this vision that we have, sharing it with the world so that the world makes channels for the streams of love. So with that, I invite you to bring a little water and share it. right. We're going to sing again in a moment, but first I'm going to give a 2-minute version of our House for Hope, our UU systematic theology. So we have a vision of where we begin and where we're going to. And we share that vision, that story of love's glory. And we make that vision real first by coming together in community and supporting each other. So the vision of who we are and where we're going, that's our theology and what's called our eschatology. Then how we come together and how we support each other, that's our ecclesiology and our soteriology. But if we stop there, two things would happen. The message wouldn't get far enough, and other people's message would define and shape the world, perhaps in ways we don't want it to be shaped. So we have a missiology, we have a mission to share this vision and this way of being that we nurture and cultivate in our smaller communities with the world, and to join in coalition with others who share our values, join in solidarity in order to make the world that we dream about. So what we're going to sing now touches on those three parts of our systematic theology: the vision, the need to be sanctuaries for each other, and the need to be revolutionaries for justice.
Sanctuary for you. Lord, please make me a revolutionary, filled with fury, bold but cold, with compassion, we will take action, seeking justice for all.
Please rise now in body or in spirit and join us in our closing words. As we extinguish our chalice, I invite you to join me now in our community blessing with these words of David Bumbaugh, slightly adapted. This church is dedicated to the proposition that by embracing our differences and embracing our diversity, we honor the unity that makes us one and binds us forever together in spite of time, death, and the space between the stars. We pause now in silent witness to that unity. Now that we've gathered together in this welcoming and inclusive spiritual home, let us go out into the world nourished, rejuvenated, and inspired to share our values.